Ever since the announcement of this new Cable run, I was salivating. I've been waiting to read this issue. And yes, Cable Love and Chrome #1 is here. And it did not disappoint. Yo, what are you waiting on? Roll that intro, cuz. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist, and this is Comic Book Declassified. And welcome back to the Orange Phoenix channel, where we talk about all things of geekdom. But here in Comic Book Declassified, we talk about the most recent issues in comics, as well as past issues, as well as character bios, if you ask for it. Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you get notified of all of our content, whether it's live or record it. And do not forget to hit that comment section, because we want to hear from you guys under each of our videos, because we want to hear your input. So we don't want to hear just our mouths running. We want to hear what your opinions is on this comic. So we are going to jump into some Cable Love and Chrome, and you already know my motto: go out to your nearest comic book store and get yourself a physical copy of the comics that we are covering and some comics that we're not covering, because the comic book store is a magical place. And if they do not have the physical copy, you can always put in an order, because they're always second printings and third printings and all that stuff. And also put it on your pull list. Also, if you're not a physical copy type of person, there is various avenues to get a digital copy of this said comic book. Now, there's the Kindle app with Comixology, there's Marvel Unlimited, and there is Global Comics. So you might want to check those avenues out. Now, Cable Love and Chrome #1. Let's get into it. Now, Cable Love and Chrome writer is David Pepose. Artist is Mike Henderson. Color artist Arif Prianto. Letterer is Joe Sabino. Cover artist is Ian Churchill and Maury Hollowell. Now, speaking of cover, man, this cover is phenomenal. I really do love this cover, and that is very eye-catching. It's like in your face. You know what I mean? A part of me wish like this artwork was like inside the comic, like as you open it up and go through, because the artwork is different. It's always going to be different, because you got someone that's doing the cover, and then you have people doing the artwork for the actual story. But either way, it's eye-catching enough for you to pick up this comic. And I'm a very visual person, so we all know back in the 90s, especially with Marvel Comics, man, it like these things was popping. You know what I'm saying? These covers was popping out at you to the point like, hey, buy me right now. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the thing is with Cable is like a Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger type of mutant. You know, he's a firearm wielding telepath. You know what I'm saying? And especially back in the 90s, because I was introduced to him in X-Men, the animated series, and also I'm reading some Cable comics here and there. But anytime I picked up a Cable comic or X-Force comic that had Cable in it, it always popped out at the pages. There's always was huge explosions and like fire battles and all kinds of stuff going on. And he was just your 90s type of cowboy. That's basically what he is. So when the comic opens up, Cable is doing what he does best, man. He's blowing stuff up, and he's basically on a mission. He's always on a mission. Now, his thing is to save the time stream as much as he can, to do what he can while he still have time. Now, if you're not really familiar with Cable, I can definitely give you a little bit of history on Nathan Summers momentarily. But with this, he goes up against this guy named Cicada, and Cicada gives Cable a run for his money. You know what I'm saying? Like, he almost beats Cable, and Cable makes some sacrifices here and there, but he was unable to do the job flawlessly like he wants to. And he wakes up in this era, a timeline where he meets someone that has the same type of virus as him. The thing is about Cable is, even though he's been the leader of the X-Force, he's been part of the X-Men, he always struck me as this loner type character. He always struck me as this Lone Ranger type person, mainly because he's dealing with a virus. It's a techno-organic virus, and here's the reason for that metal arm that he has. But if that metal overtakes his entire body, he's gone. He will cease to exist because with that technical organic virus, it basically turned your blood into circuits and machinery and everything else in between. That's, to me, that's why he always laments about that. In this comic, he always talks about how he's dealing with this virus and how his mutant abilities of telepathy and telekinesis is actually holding this virus at bay. And honestly, he feels like he's the only one that's actually dealing with this. In this comic, he's introduced to someone named Avery Ryder, and she is commander of this outfit in her timeline, and she too has this virus. Now, obviously, it hasn't taken over her body, but there's a little bit of kinship between these two individuals, and you see this throughout the comic. You see a budding relationship. A part of me feels like I read Time Slide #1, the one shot, and Cable, Love, and Chrome backwards. I felt like I should have read Cable, Love, and Chrome first, because in Time Slide #1, there is a panel where Cable and Avery actually kissed each other. But in Cable, Love, and Chrome, you kind of see Cable taking a liking to Avery. Now, that is as much in depth as I'm going to get in Cable, Love, and Chrome, because there's a lot of happenings in this first issue. And again, I want you guys to go out there and get it for yourself. But I will tell you about Nathan Summers. Now, Nathan is a powerful mutant telepath, and he's also a telekinetic who has been fighting in several wars most of his life as a time-traveling soldier, which connects to Time Spring, which he calls himself Cable. The son of the first X-Men Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. Now, you possibly seen Madeline Pryor. Well, ain't no possibly. You did see Madeline Pryor in X-Men 97. Now, Nathan's maternally inherited powers manifested at a young age, and the circumstances of his birth were machinated by Mr. Sinister to create a living weapon against Apocalypse, which resulted in his mother's descent into madness and death after learning her place in this plot as the clone of an eventual stepmother, founding X-Man Jean Grey. Now, during this ordeal, baby Nathan was infected with the techno-organic virus and sent into a post-apocalyptic future where he could be saved. Raised in this future as Nathan Dayspring, that Oskin's son, destined to kill Apocalypse in the clan Oskani religion. Nathan became a hardened warrior and a brilliant tactician. Now, during his teen years, Nathan returned to the past and reconnected with his parents and older sister Rachel on the budding mutant nation of Krakoa, but eventually returned to his adopted future to thwart Strife, his own radical terrorist clone. After decades of struggle, Nathan traveled further back to the period closest to his original departure, formed the Six-Pack Continue to Battle, and he also joined the New Mutants as the leader and eventually reformed the team into the militaristic X-Force. Now, dedicated to the current time period, Cable sought to better the future of both mankind and mutant kind, for he has seen result of not doing so firsthand. Cable took it upon himself to protect and train the first mutant born after M-Day, adopting her as Hope Summers, and eventually Cable reached the point in time he resided in as a teenager and joined his loved ones on Krakoa once again, taking his younger self's place as Chief Security Officer of S.W.O.R.D. Obviously, this leading up to the fall of Krakoa and everything else in between. Now, Hope Summers and with the Messiah Complex and the Messiah War, if you haven't read those, you might want to go check that out. Now, I did talk about the Messiah War and the Messiah Complex in my last video, Time Slide #1 with Bishop and Cable, but that is a phenomenal storyline, by the way. That is a really, really good storyline. So if you haven't read that, go ahead and check that out. Now, go out and get Cable, Love, and Chrome. Now, this will be a run of Cable. Time Slide #1 is a one-shot, and it's a worth it one-shot. So go ahead and check that out. You already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, because we got some more comics we're going to cover in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace.